he killing my haircut. I didn't have a haircut. I haven't had a haircut in 3 months.
You look good.
My barber ain't working. I don't know where. I got like 9 barbers, and they all ain't working. I'm getting mad. I'm about to do my own shit. I'm like, rah, rah, rah.
Oh, I got some scissors for you if you need.
I need lineups, razors, whatever.
So I'll do like a little zigzag. If that's still cool.
All right. I know y'all ain't trying to hear my haircut. Y'all coming in. They got clippers. No clippers. So Kat, how's your week been, man?
My week's been good. Well, good, interesting. I got a letter from LA basically and reopening, and we're here to talk about the new normal. Keith, we have unemployment going to rise. We have a new stimulus plan that probably will not go into effect. Like, we have the value of the dollar with inflation rates. People are talking about going back to the gold standard. Trump is in office until January 20th.
Yeah.
And then he's put in the highest number of federal judges during his presidential term, and those people can't be allocated out of the office until, well, they're dead. So just kind of understanding the process of the system, where we lie. And I know Cardi B's had a really loud voice with her political science degree. If you guys didn't know, that's been really cool. What are your thoughts on that?
It's good. She got a political science degree. That's like everybody needs a degree. I didn't get a degree. I don't have one. I gotta get one. I don't have one. I think it's too old for me to get a degree, but that's cool. What I've been struggling with is I talk to a lot of people, and the new normal.
Right.
They're having huge. There's some people out there that think when this COVID thing is over, when it's over, like it's a party.
Right.
For those that's listening and hanging out and coming through, this is like this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
This is like this for a minute. My business, we ain't having no concerts, nothing, at least until maybe the spring of 2021. Like, how we gonna hold up, y'all? Like, my thing is like, how's your mental health dealing with? We like you said, the stimulus plans. I know people are getting disproportionate stimulus. I don't get none because my shit is all crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get one because I pay child support. It's like, you don't get
anybody else having trouble with the system? Like, because it's not been put in place. I got a letter from the EDD for unemployment, and then I put in the wrong date. And then as I'm doing my appeal, it's supposed to come in a week later, and nada. So at what point is the money going to run out? Is America even prepared, or have we even been systematically prepared?
So that's the thing, and I think some of the issues we're going to touch on tonight is just to make you think. I don't have a solution. We don't have a
and we're not politicians, you guys. Remember that. It's like, so this is a real talk conversation.
Yeah. For some of us that work for the stimulus, we all know that at least 40 million Americans is out of work. So
yep.
If how long do y'all think that they're going to keep funding 40 million people on that part with monies that they can get to hold on to their homes or that mm-hmm. if you don't find a job? Right now everybody's on the internet, man, and and being on the internet, it's like, it's cool, but how do you generate money on the internet? You have some people that do have jobs, but the new normal, it's like it's hella crazy.
It's interesting because for the people that are going back to their office jobs and having to stay 6 feet apart, wear masks and things like that. The offices aren't set up for that. Mind you,
No,
the big corporations with the buildings, Keith,
I'm black.
your
Am I
screen
black?
went black.
I
Yeah,
don't know why it went black. Oh, there we go.
you were texting. You were
I was,
texting.
I was texting. No.
Yeah, but that's interesting, with different kinds of businesses, from the door handles and everything else like that. And me even reopening, photography business because I can have a certain amount of people on set to where you going back into the studio and, just even the microphone comparison to big corporations to where people have to go into a big elevator and then really social distance. Some people are really taking this
Well,
seriously. And on the other hand, there's a disbelief that this even exists. And let's all face the facts, you guys. Keith, I know you mentioned you had lost close friends to this,
yeah,
and
yeah, and still losing.
and,
So,
and people don't believe that COVID-19 is real still. Like, and then we
well,
just had a big wave in China again.
you know, those are the people that be caught up in the bubble, and what we're trying to just keep people aware of. This is our new normal. This is where it's going to be. I'm gonna be straight. I got friends in the medical field. They're telling me that we're not finding a cure for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, and I ain't talking about friends that are nurses and, well, I do have that, but I'm talking about the people that are kind of on the front lines with dealing with development of 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 certain areas of the medical field where this is what they do. They do case studies on certain new uh, techniques that come in to help people deal with like pulmonary fibrosis and stuff like that. They do case studies.
Yeah.
So those case studies are based on them finding, I don't want to use the word vaccination, but that's because that's not, I don't want to use that term, man, because everybody has their different opinion of that. I'm not going to get into that. But just the medicine that they would need to do testing to see if it works.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I think America's built on this idea of I need it now, I can get it now. And with something like COVID floating around,
I want to
it's
correct
a
you on.
race
I want to.
to
Oh,
a vaccine.
yeah. I want to correct you on the word think. No, that's not what America. America don't think that. They feel that that's what they want. They want it now. We need it now. When are you going to change this? When are you going to fix this?
So
I'm just trying to get
this
people to understand there's a long haul to this.
So, and what makes America great, and as an immigrant myself, like I feel that it's been a cushy life, a comfortable life, so to say here. So that lends to the mindset of the general, to some Americans, not all, of course. Um,
But we
but
do
the
have a cushy.
mindset overall is
No
very
matter
cushy
no matter
and comfortable.
no matter how hard stuff is, and I know me as black, we still dealing with police brutality, and I can deal with that. But as being black, I can say stuff like, as a whole, we do have a cushy life.
Mm-hmm.
Until somebody told me that they've been to Iran. They've been in those places where this is what we deal with and how they deal with war and terrorism on a daily basis. No, we've had a cushy. Americans have cushy lives.
And would you say, in your opinion, that it's different because we have this big gap in wage inequality as well? We can look at that 1%. We can all say like, yeah, you guys got it good. But even with a normal income person, or it's still pretty decently comfortable compared to other countries. Yes or no?
We got it good. That's why everybody wants to come here.
I came here because that's what exactly was painted to me, right? Cushy American life. Is that going to change in your opinion?
American life?
Are we? yeah, we can be all
It
cushy,
changed.
and
It
it's
changed.
already changed.
It
Yeah.
changed right now. This take once again one of the biggest entertainment is my business, the music field. Nobody is performing, and I serve my man talking about well, we digital. It ain't no, it ain't the same. We like it. We're stuck doing digital. It ain't the same as interacting with a bunch of people that you see screaming up and down your music, your songs. You don't get that online. You
Yeah.
can do all the Zoom parties you want. The technical part of the Zoom party is you can't hear your audience because the technology doesn't let you. Because if you can hear the audience, that means the audience listening to whoever's performing music gets cut because whoever takes over the mic, they become the forefront. That's the technical world. So we're not gonna get, I ain't gonna say never. We're not having that for a minute. And the reason why I deal with the music industry, because the music industry is the only industry that deals with people from different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in an environment where everybody comes together. Yes, we know we have the rowdy ones and then what, but that's not all the time.
Let's touch base on Chuck D's conversation with CNN last Saturday. He mentioned kids and how they've taken control of the future. What is kids and taking control of the future? What does that look like? What's the landscape of that?
I mean, I told the Chuck last night.
Okay.
We had conversations about all that. The landscape is, and I've been saying this from before. So me and Chuck had like about a 2-hour conversation on the phone, and we talking about all kinds of stuff. So the landscape of this is the newer generation. My generation, and Chuck, we were saying my generation, our generation that we come up, the motherfuckers is stuck in whatever they believe in. Some of them have good sense of what's happening. We need to come together, but then some of them like everybody's like, no, we ain't fucking with them. We ain't doing that. The younger generation didn't grow up like the way we did. You know, we grew up kind of in a world where, once again, I got to keep using music because this is the only medium that shows how people come together. So when we grew up in the 70s, 60s and 70s, if you went to a concert, like I'm gonna pull up my favorite group, Earth, Wind and Fire, you wouldn't see a lot of white people there. Just like if we went to a Eric Clapton or Cream concert, you wouldn't see black people there because their music and style spoke two different ways. Now you had those, we call them blue-eyed soul cats that crossed over, like Elton John back then with Benny and the Jets. You know, that was that. Your Robbie Neville's with the C'est La Vie that crossed over. And I don't get into that, but I'm just saying we still had the separation. Now, you go to a rap concert, you just like, you know, matter of fact, sometimes more white kids there than black kids. Now, I understand why sometimes the ticket price points are much higher than what most black people want to pay. Like me, I'd be like, oh, that motherfucker ticket's $450, it's $150, and I gotta take my girl. That's like now
That's a really
at
expensive date.
For the ticket. Now I gotta get my weed, I gotta get the clothes, I gotta get all the yo, I'll sit and catch it on YouTube.
Well, it's really interesting because people's priorities have changed during this time. I know for me, mine have. Spending money and those habits definitely have changed into what am I really investing in, and you know, what is the future of what the kids are bringing to the table, and then also that generational gap. And then within that generational gap, just to kind of rewind, do you feel like there's been this kind of sense of looking through rose-colored glasses, I would phrase it, compared to the younger generations, the millennials, are getting a different kind of information? and being a little more radical with change compared to
Well,
not being so comfy in their comfy zone
well,
of America.
well. I mean, technology, shit like Instagram and all that shit has changed the whole landscape. So that's a big situation. Oh, somebody said my generation has no leadership. Mm. That because my generation fucked up the leadership. that's a that's a that's a that's a big problem. A big problem. So I just took my man Sean up there that said that. I took that question because my generation fucked it up. Of course, there's gonna be no leadership. I got, I deal with some of the artists are complaining of how the young kids make records. The older cats are complaining how. I mean, this. If you want to take it literally, yeah, I don't like every record, but I like some of them shits. Some of them shits is hot, and some of them shits ain't. Just like we made good records and we made whack records, but but in a situation that when we was coming up trying to get the world or the corporation into hip hop, the older generation and then was like, what kind of bullshit music is this? Y'all not even musicians. So we've always had generational gaps. I understood that. I tried not to project that. I try to show the younger generation this is what you need to do. Yes, I know the younger generation have a hard time of, because things been given to them, have a hard time of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, because everything's been done for them. Hip hop has been on TV. Hip hop is normal. It's normal. But when I came up, we had to make it normal. So there's things that the generation don't have. But then we have to have this barrier of everybody has to understand and listen to each other. Because once again, I'm going to tell motherfuckers from straight up, because my generation has, oh, my man Daddy, I'll say, oh, Dad, he says laziness. But that too is laziness. But the fact of, I'm going to start to, because my generation had to push through things, and I'm going to deal with, yes, some of it is laziness, but then some of it's a new way that we might think is laziness. You know?
Yeah, and that brings me to the point of, wow, there's a fly. Sorry.
Kill it.
That brings me to the point, like,
Kill it.
do people in America, and especially during this pandemic, do they have boundaries? And since we're talking about the new normal and how we have to adapt, shift, flow to that, how hard is it going to be to set those boundaries with mindfulness, respect, just, everything that from production standpoint, from the people that do have to go to work. And to me, Keith, I see it, people are very split. I've been getting the left side of it, the right side of it, people pretending nothing exists, everything's okay. They don't respect my boundaries whenever I want to social distance, or like I'm trying to douse people with hand sanitizer and they're looking at me like I'm a fucking weirdo. So, like, do you think that people in America don't even have boundaries?
Nobody has boundaries.
And how do we set them, for the future?
Like, that comes from talking, having conversations, listening to everybody, and understanding where they can make a change at. That's the way I feel. Because if we don't listen, and sometimes it's a situation where, we ain't always right.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't always right, and if I keep it on the music side too, it's like, yes, we do have to listen to some of the young cats, and like, I'm gonna bring up the point, the laziness point. Yes, it is, but then there's the other side that the younger kids understand. I'm making money off the subscriptions.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me that what I'm doing here in the tech world, I'm making paper. I got my fans and my followers, and they buying what I do because it's their time and they're coming up, and that's who they're staying on with. So it's that, you know. And if we don't understand that, it's like, and if we are afraid of technology, this world is technology. We afraid of that. What the fuck are we gonna do then?
Yeah.
Like,
So
I don't understand. I don't understand if you're 50 plus, you don't understand how to work Instagram or fuck around with TikTok and all the other new platforms that come out. It might not be for you in the beginning, but that's the world right now.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because each platform has a different voice and it has different unifications of how people are brought together. And it's really important to test them all out right now, in my opinion. And everything has an upside and a downside. It's not all black and white, so to say, as much as we like to, you know, go towards that. But it's really great to have these conversations. And you mentioned earlier, at the point of mental health, I feel like we're in this reopening stage, as America shouldn't really necessarily be reopening, but people are really going towards the tactic of wealth over health and not being mindful of boundaries and setting them in motion. As you know, the CDC recommends the social distancing and all of that. You see people flooding around not doing so. I've seen it, and I'm not sure if you guys have seen it as well. But
we've seen it.
How, you know,
we've seen.
I am sure you guys have all seen it all.
Once again, you asking people to deal with an issue in the year 2020 when I can make a phone call on my watch and look at the person. You're asking somebody to go back to the Stone Age. So we are all a race of dealing with closeness and dealing with people.
Absolutely.
So how of course, then we got a lot of, like, I'm one of conspiracy theorists. I'm one of those. We have a lot of
Tell me a new one.
You know, and then
you got a new one for me?
Until it happens to you, you fit. Like, for my music people, you could just have a conversation with Jazzy Jeff and my other man Mel Starr, because those were one of the only two people I knew that had the COVID. So it's like, you know, it's summertime now, especially here in America. We're like, you can barely breathe with the mask on. 80 degrees sitting outside.
Imagine when it hits high summer. Well, imagine when it hits high summer, and just our bank accounts are getting like.
I look at it right now. We had high summer. We had high summer. It's going to. What are you gonna do?
Well,
I know
swimsuit brands are like, you got your bikini and you got to get a face mask, and that's what you swim in. So yes, correct. But people are not willing to do that because they think it doesn't exist. We were talking about mental health earlier. You know, how's your mental health been through all the protests and the pandemic stuff, and anything you'd like to share, any advice you'd like to give as well? That's something that I struggle with in my life. I deal with anxiety and depression, and I can give you my toolkit and how I've been dealing with this stuff. We're talking real. So to me, exercise and having a healthy diet and just getting out there and connecting with people like you and all my other friends has been really key to me. What's been keeping you going, dear Capricorn?
Keep me going, stuff I do, like with this, the DJ and stuff like that, because, you know, when you kind of mostly by yourself, because I live alone, this is me, this, that.
You're not get that serotonin high when you're DJing.
You get that, yeah. But then when you live by yourself,
in a
like,
group,
you're kind of around everybody constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, around you kind of you by yourself constantly, and that lets to, like, you know, fatigue, and you're feeling like, damn, I just can't. Now I know it's like, damn, I can't even go to the club no more to go just meet some people for a minute and hang out.
Right.
Stuff like this. So my mental health goes up and down. The depression sets in. And anybody that don't think depression sets in with them I think is a damn liar. It's all forms of depression, but what
Absolutely.
happened here is like you try to stay as healthy and exercise as much as possible, or just keep things. But you know, it sets in. Your future sets in. If I'm
Hmm.
telling everybody, like especially in the music industry, we ain't going to a venue for almost another. They looking at six, put it almost another year. We ain't going inside venues for another year. Um, what we gonna do?
Listen, I am scared, terrified of going into a nightclub, a bar. Like that's the last place I'll probably ever be going. Like
Like
honestly, like
I'm scared. I'm kind of.
booty grinding, dancing,
I'm
with a
kind of no,
stranger
no,
right now.
no. I'm kind of. I'm
I don't
kind of.
know.
I'm kind of scared and terrified. But then at the same time, I'm like, I need some people.
Oh yeah, but
I need,
like we have to with mental health, you can't let fear control you. So I think there's a fine balance, right? So adapting to technology, building a really strong community against that, holding everybody accountable on top of that as well. Accountability, respect, boundaries, setting those new rules and boundaries. And I've had to do that within photo shoots as well, even with the makeup artists that I work with. Everybody is having to be required to be a clean artist and actually have certificates on the table, making sure that they're not double dipping. And these are things that happen in my industry, across the entertainment industry, and falls off into the music industry as well, and shooting music videos. People can't go and get touch ups because now you have to do them yourself. So you're going to need a new toolkit. You've been working on your toolkit. And is there any tips and tricks and advice that you would give to your audience, our audience, and what should go in their toolkit, so to say,
I,
as we prepare for the new norm?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out my toolkits keeps changing. I mean, it's a basic
Mm,
toolkit. Wash your goddamn hands. Don't touch your face. Um, Stay away from people sneezing, and then we got allergies, so stay away from people sneezing. But it's this is like my whole thing. Our whole thing today was this is our new norm,
yeah,
and you're not getting away from this is the new norm anytime soon. It's like I'm speaking on it hard because I still have a hard time feeling that this is our new norm. Like
I know. Yeah,
it's like
it's
no, it's
weird.
going to end, and come September we all good.
No, it's gonna just restart because now we're gonna go back into the winter
Yeah.
time, the fall. Hello.
How do everybody
So
generate money? And I know a lot of
exactly.
people here want to talk about lazy rappers and songs, and like that's cool too, but you know that's a day for creativity. We're gonna have to talk about music creators and creativity in music and what we need to do. I got
Yeah, so
everybody in here. Everybody wants to talk about. Yeah, just talk about what's that track you did. Nah, it's. I mean, it's very important for us to understand and us to keep our mental health and not to because I've seen people crying and I've seen people on there. I can't take it no more. I
yeah,
don't know
no,
what
I've
to
had
do.
strangers come up to me
I'm
like
getting that.
just like trying to hug me, and they're like, I'm freaking
Yeah,
out. And I'm like, da 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 da. My boyfriend, my whatever partner doesn't understand. And I'm like, I want to help, but like, can you, ah,
yes,
I'm trying. And it's like, I get it,
yeah.
and it's difficult and hard. So yeah, a lot of breakups, a lot of mental breakdowns, a lot of people misunderstanding. And I wish there was just like a little bag you
Yeah,
can
talk
just,
to. It's like you gotta talk to people, talk to friends, talk
yeah.
to people, talk to friends.
Hmm.
Try to stay as active as possible, and how
Absolutely.
to deal with this. It's this is something we've all never experienced. You know, whatever you need to do. My girl serotonin said Buddha style. Hey, sometimes meditation those things.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to do it a lot. You know, you got to keep it going. You know, those things is very important to what you do. You know, and how to stay. You know, how to stay there. Everybody has their own how to stay mentally fit. You know, there's all kinds of ways. Sometimes some of y'all got to reach out to people that y'all feeling it. Some people's dealing with health issues and shit. So you know that's another thing. You know that's why we have the American Heart Association. I got health issues. I'm
Yeah. And a
terrified.
lot of people are
I'm
ignoring their health
terrified to get
as
to
well.
get COVID because I know it messes with your respiratory system and your heart, like big time. And if that's like if your immune system is not built up, you know you have if it's not built up, you kind of your odds are against you. But if you have an immune system that's pretty built up, you know you will you have a better chance at least. You know, everybody's body is different, but at the same time, you know, you just do what you got to do.
Absolutely. And it's really changing the landscape. And I know everybody's been talking about the new normal. What does that look like? Shifting to the digital age, using Zoom, using all this technology. And that may look different for everybody. And everybody's going to adapt in their own ways, just like we have been. You know, everybody's going to do their own thing. Everybody's going to have a different mindset. But at the end of the day, we all have to be mindful of each other and listen to each other and take the right advice and, you know, keep our mental health very strong. But at the end of the day, how long are we going to wait for 4 hours standing in a grocery store line? Like, how long is that going to last? You know, and the supply and demand.
When you're in the East Coast and the winter kicks in. Winter kicks in the East Coast, you standing online to get into a supermarket.
Yeah, America's changing. Our landscape is completely evolving. And in the background, with overrun social media on the new election, the new everything that's, I'm not even going to get into the news, but you guys know what's going on. And everybody keeps up. And if you haven't, go read something. I don't know. But
I read manuals.
I know. And it's really fun to, you know, kind of, and it's exhausting, honestly, to keep up with that. And we do have the privilege. Everybody has the privilege with the internet. If you have internet, to be able to keep up with that. That's one privilege that every human being has, is to be able to educate yourself.
Some people in America that don't have internet?
No, there are. And I didn't dismiss those. So everybody that does have the internet does have the,
be like, get out of here.
Everybody has the privilege to study and read the news.
Yeah.
So in preparation, you know, with everything, I think we have to be without support in this everlasting conversation of, you know, the new normal and what quarantine is. What did you learn with quarantine? How have you adapted? What are your new skill sets? That's going to be a different answer for everybody else. But how do we get very united whenever a country is very divided? You know, is it with skill sets? Is it
you're gonna have being united is that might not happen in my parents is there. Well, it might not happen in my lifetime. Well, I'm looking at it now. It might not happen in my lifetime. But I know what we have done. We have set understanding with the youth. And when I mean the youth with the hip hop culture, I mean, you know, not just black, white, Asian, the Latino community, Now, the only Latino, I can't just name them, like I can Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, the Ecuadorians, South. You know, I just can't get into all that. I'm just gonna call it everybody, the Latino community, the Asian community, the black community, the white community, Native American community. Hip hop music has united all of that. You know, and that's where I think for me personally, that's where it's gonna start and lay and do its thing from that perspective. And that's the younger kids being born and raised in this because this is what they know. My generation wasn't raising it. This shit was made during the generation. So you have people with their own ideas and how life should be and how things should go and what's the right side and the left side, right wingers, left wingers, Republicans and Democrats. All that shit need to go.
How do you think this will affect the educational system?
Well, they're gonna know the truth now. They know Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. They know that motherfucker was violent. And we need to get rid of that motherfucker's holiday.
We need to get rid of the wrong teachers.
Well, they're gonna die off.
Well, yeah,
that's die off.
Naturally.
Die off.
Yeah.
We get rid of all the teachers. We need to get rid of Columbus Day, motherfuckers. Columbus Day need to go.
Well, yeah. A lot of things are shifting, and I keep on referring to our landscape, but yes. And I think it's been a really great move that the Black Lives Matter movement has united with LGBTQIA. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. There's letters that are getting added, so it's this great acronym, and everybody's really beginning to stand in unity. We have had a great bill pass, which is amazing. I think there's change. With change comes a lot of pain and mental suffering and mentality. And
when you said bill pass,
you
want to stay with it for 1 second, so then we got to get off.
Go ahead. Yeah.
POTUS has put in, I think, 147 federal judges.
Yep.
Those are his boys. Earlier. Those are his crew that are not leaving the system because we want them out. They're there forever. Mm-hmm. So we got to figure out how to change them.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of sci-fi lately. I got some ideas, but
that might work.
No, but the most interesting thing is if you guys go on Netflix, the stuff that is so weird, like rewatch Bubble Boy and like how, but that's crazy because you got a boy in a bubble, but the racism that is within that movie is beyond. On top of that, you have all these other movies that came out in the early 2000s as well as just like last year, which we know are being filmed like a year before they even release. And it's so interesting to watch those nowadays.
I'm watching this
and
show.
You're seeing like things like quarantine happen and like the government stuff, like exactly what's happening right now in the world. Yeah. And have we all been blinded?
I'm watching this show that I gotta get the name. The Last Days of American Crime. So we're gonna end on this one. So The Last Days of American Crime is on Netflix now. I ain't finished watching it. It's a movie, it's not a series.
Okay.
It's about the government figured out this is for my music people. Figured out a frequency to stop people from doing crime.
That was in another movie too, with like a Big Brother thing.
Yeah, but hold on, this just came out. So they made this. They just dropped this like last week. So if they figured out a frequency to stop people from doing crime, right? They zone in on this frequency number, and y'all know if y'all hang out with me, y'all know vibrations is all about frequencies. That different frequencies get you a different mood. So they found one that stopped people from doing crime. Your conspiracy theory is everybody's complaining about the 5G network.
Oh, we go in there. Maybe that's on a frequency to commit crime or not to commit crime.
There's a movie out about a frequency that stops people from doing crime, and everybody is dealing and saying what the 5G network is doing to them.
Interesting.
Just conspiracy theory off of this thing.
I know my frequency for like sending out and getting in a better mood is 528 hertz. And that's what I use with like meditation and to like energize vibrations.
I thought the
528.
The 400 hertz. I thought it was 420. You might be right. I think it's 520.
528.
That's a different. The 520 is a different vibe. 420 was a different vibe too.
420.
Not
is
weed,
that
not
a
weed,
vibe?
not weed, not fucking weed, y'all.
But it's usually like 428, 328, something along those lines. But yeah, in the 808.
That's a good one.
And the 405 and the 101 over here, that's a whole different vibration for sure.
And 909s and 606.
Yeah, let's get into the highway vibration. So I know I need to hit the road. I need to get back to my studio and then hire that vibration. Yeah. So, hey guys, thank you so much for donating. We're going to be back next Wednesday. Let us know what you think about what the new norm is. This is going to go on IGTV, on Keith's Instagram. So drop your comments there below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you again for your support. If you missed this, you can always rewatch on YouTube. We're streaming across Facebook, also on Twitch, and we're here on Instagram. So thank you for tuning in to the Cat and Shock Show. We love you. We support you. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Love you, brother.
Power to the people. All right. Tequila Thursdays tomorrow.
Yes. Get your dance on with us. Get your energy and vibration up.